Hello, I'm Michelle Soriano, president of Castle Rock Investment Company. It is April 23rd, 2025. And like I said recently, if you watch some of these videos, it's been tough to actually stop and just record something about the market or give you my quote unquote water cooler wisdom because everything keeps changing so fast. There has been a significant change, so I felt that I should just do a quick update. So when I go ahead and just share the water cooler wisdom. All right. A lot of this is going to be repeat information. If you saw the last recording, unemployment rate when we ended the first quarter, sitting at about 4.2%. Inflation running about 2.4 for consumers, 2.7 for producers. We believe in the first quarter there was a contraction of about 2.2%, but we don't have final numbers on that. We won't for a while. Fed funds rate running between 4.25 and 4.5. In the stock market, equities did lose. Large caps losing about 4.6%. Small companies losing almost double that, 9.8%. That's very typical if we think we're heading into a recession. Large companies usually, they have enough cash to outlast anything. Smaller companies are more at risk. Bonds, of course, had a performance at 2.8% return in the first quarter. Quick update on the reciprocal tariffs. So the 10% to everybody tariffs went into place April 5th. The reciprocal tariffs, they were put on pause on April 9th. So they're quote unquote being negotiated, except for China's, right? So the Yale's Budget Lab, their projection is cost to American households about $4,700 of purchasing power, reduction in the GDP about 1.1%, and an increase in unemployment about 0.5%. Now, student loan debt. Everybody knows I've been talking about this for almost a year now during that on-ramp period, because 1.6 trillion held by 43 million Americans, that is the size of our auto loan debt. And imagine if it wasn't showing up and folks just didn't have to pay their car loans this whole time. So it did show up on the credit reports during the first quarter. And actually, even more significantly than that, there was a press release on Monday, April 21st, from the Department of Education that they are going to start collections. So May 5th, they are going to send notices May 5th out to everybody announcing the collections on that debt, because there's already 5.3 million borrowers in default. Already in default. Then there's over 4 million that are very far behind, meaning 91 to 180 days late. So almost 10 million borrowers out there that are past due on their student loan debt. So they're going to receive notices also late summer regarding wage garnishments beginning from the Department of Treasury. So if you can imagine, even if they're late, the impact on that. Now, back in the fall, New York Fed has a blog called Liberty Street Economics, and they have projected when those student loans started getting reported, what would be the impact to the credit scores of those people that are late and or delinquent and or in default. So you can see on the chart on the right what they projected that impact was going to be, and you could just do a quick Google search and see all the reporting on that. So market headwinds, wage garnishments, imagine this, on 10 million borrowers starting in the fall. It's on $400 billion worth of student loan debt. Of course, reduction in purchasing power, $4,700. That's before we start substituting out goods that don't have tariffs. Increase in unemployment rate, about 0.5%. Decrease in GDP of 1.1, right? I'm the economics person, right? Dismal science. So Fed is getting together May 5th, May 6th through 7th. It's the one time I am really glad I do not work there, because that sounds very stressful. From their remarks, the most remarkable item I think I've heard Powell say is that they're not even making projections. They're creating placeholders and stepping back. I just thought that's the first time I've ever heard them creating placeholders and stepping back. The returns, as we went through this before regarding stock market, of course, there was a drop in the first quarter, but even with that drop, before we went into the real teardown on the 4th and the 5th and 6th of April, our 20-year average PE ratios, we were well above the 20-year average PE ratios when we closed out the quarter. So as of March 31st, that was a Monday, It's hard to remember, right? We were still well above our 20-year averages regarding price to earnings ratios. So we're coming back more into the norms, is what you might say. Regarding the Mag 7, everyone talks about, they obviously lost a lot during the first quarter. If you looked at the S&P 500, took out those seven, the S&P 500 would have actually had a positive return in the first quarter if you had taken out the Mag 7. So just curious little item there. And then last but not least, the periodic chart. So if you go to the top right, quarter year to date, so for the first quarter, commodities had a return of 8.9%, developed market equities 7%, emerging market equities 3%, fixed income, we went over before, bonds 2.8%, and REITs 2.8%. So just want to give you a quick update because of the press release that came out on Monday and the significant impact that's going to have on folks. I don't know, there's a lot of stories going on out there. I know friends of friends where they're receiving letters and the payments are pretty impactful. So thank you for watching this video, and I hope you're staying cool and making good purchasing decisions. Thank you for watching this video again. Bye-bye.